Each individual is a cosmos of organs. Each organ is a cosmos of cells. Each cell is a cosmos of infinitely small ones. And in this complex world, the well-being of the whole depends entirely on the sum of well-being enjoyed by each of the least microscopic particles of organized matter. Peter Kropotkin, from Anarchism, Its Philosophy and Ideal. The very cannibalism of the counter-revolution will convince the nations that there is only one way in which the murderous death agonies of the old society and the bloody birth throes of the new society can be shortened, simplified and concentrated, and that way is revolutionary terror. Karl Marx, from The Victory of the Counter-Revolution, in Vienna. To revolt is a natural tendency of life. Even a worm turns against the foot that crushed it. In general, the vitality and relative dignity of an animal can be measured by the intensity of its instinct to revolt. Mikhail Bakunin, from On the International Workingmen's Association and Karl Marx. Before I digress, allow me to apprise you, dear reader, of a few thoughts. This is neither a scathing critique nor a sharp-edged expose. Everything conveyed here is tangible, and in no way is this intended as a means to invite scrutiny or anything of the sort. My purpose in writing this is to illuminate the forces shaping our civilization, forces that are both pressing and unique. While these issues may not find resolution today, tomorrow remains within reach. Thus, we must not squander opportunity, reader. We must pursue our self-interests, rather than idly watching as society continues to strip us of our courage. Do not, under any circumstances, allow the state to seize it. One essential matter to address is the intent of this manifesto. I do not present this as a rallying cry for corporate upheaval or any organized coup. Rather, it serves as a vehicle to enlighten and embolden individuals, those who possess an insatiable thirst for self-determination and personal sovereignty. The mere act of awakening to this truth will inspire insurrection, not through collective rebellion, but through the assertion of one's own will. Indeed, reader, this manifesto does not prescribe a singular course of action. It merely affirms that any means one deems necessary, whether violent or pacifist, is justified. After all, we cannot blindly rely on change to emerge from neutral, sanitized channels. Those in power must always contend with the possibility of upheaval. Otherwise, the individual risks becoming little more than a docile lamb. Furthermore, always seek the path that aligns self-interest with the pragmatic pursuit of an anarchist society. Keep this in mind, reader. I bear no responsibility for your actions. You alone will shoulder the consequences of your choices, as they are made in pursuit of your own desires. But understand this: if you must wield force or risk your very soul, do so only in the name of your own selfhood. It is essential to clarify the intent of this publication. This is not a manifesto designed to incite corporate upheaval or societal revolt. Rather, it is a medium crafted to enlighten and empower individuals. Its purpose is to inspire the pursuit of self-interest and rekindle the flame of individuality. This realization alone can ignite a personal revolution, not through collective defiance, but through the awakening of the unique. Indeed, this work advocates the relentless pursuit of one's aspirations by whatever means necessary, whether through peaceful resolve or decisive action. Progress, after all, rarely arises from neutrality or sanitized endeavors. At times, disruption becomes essential, for if individuality is suppressed, we risk succumbing to passive conformity. Above all, let self-interest be the compass that guides your actions, always pointing toward the formation of a practical and anarchistic society. Hold fast to this principle, reader. Understand that I bear no responsibility for the choices you make. Those choices are born solely from your own self-interest. But take heed, if you must resort to force, or hazard your soul in the process, let it be in the service of your unique self. The arguments laid forth in these pages will not merely critique, but will unmask, with uncompromising precision, the afflictions that torment humanity and the mechanisms that bend the unique into submission. This work seeks not only to expose the threats that endanger your self-interest, but also to fortify your confidence in the beliefs you may have questioned under the weight of societal oppression. It will empower you to grasp the true nature of our civilization and respond accordingly. I have no regard for those of wealth who choose to engage with this challenge. Wealth does not guarantee worth, yet anyone willing to reshape society for the cause of liberation is welcome in this insurrection, for that is precisely what this is, the challenge to the entrenched order. Continue reading, and you will uncover the insights necessary to transform your will into reality, provided it serves your self-interest. Do not waver, persevere in your defiance of the state. Throughout my life, I was deceived about the true nature of man. I was blind to the reality of our pursuits, shielded by a misguided faith instilled from childhood. We were taught to believe that our world cherishes individuality and rewards perseverance. Yet, the unique have been conditioned to submit to a system, capitalism dominated by the indifferent, whose sole purpose is to reduce society to a mass of thoughtless collectivists, incapable of autonomous thought. Individuality, self-interest, and uniqueness are not nurtured, but exploited by the state for its own perpetuation. It was this awakening that compelled me to reject such deceptions and align myself with those who seek authentic liberation, the insurrectionists. I cannot endure what man has become. I stand in defiance of their doctrine, a doctrine that foments division, reduces man to an economic and social category, and strips him of his inherent power. We are conditioned to accept this servitude passively, while dissenters are dismissed as naive or incompetent. The hypocrisy embedded in their rhetoric is glaring. Recognizing that rejecting this system aligned with my self-interest, I broke free and embraced anarchy, a path where I answer only to myself and my desires. That decision granted me a profound sense of individuality and unwavering self-assurance. I believe anyone can claim that same freedom, should they possess the will to pursue it. This is why I choose anarchy over totalitarianism, for only through the unrelenting pursuit of self-interest can genuine liberation be attained. When everyone is to cultivate himself into man, condemning a man to machine-like labor amounts to the same thing as slavery. If a factory worker must tire himself to death 12 hours and more, he is cut off from becoming man. Every labor is to have the intent that the man be satisfied. His labor is nothing taken by itself, has no object in itself, is nothing complete in itself. He labors only into another's hands, and is used exploited by this other. Max Stirner, from the ego and its own. Previously, our world operated under a vastly different system, feudalism. This rigid, class-based hierarchy consisted of serfs, knights, aristocrats, and royalty. Though undeniably fragmented and flawed, it endured for centuries. Over time, The Industrial Revolution introduced the concept of a free market and a more fluid social structure. Innovations such as mechanized factories and electricity accelerated this transformation. Consequently, capitalism emerged, displacing the antiquated caste system of the Middle Ages. At first glance, this new framework seemed promising. The poor could now pursue careers once unattainable under feudalism, and the elite appeared to wield less oppressive authority over the lower classes. Yet, this optimism was misplaced, as capitalism's true nature began to reveal itself. Ironically, capitalism did not eradicate systemic inequality, it merely reshaped it. While offering more flexibility than feudalism, it continues to divide society into two distinct classes: the bourgeoisie, who accumulate wealth and dictate the system, and the proletariat, who labor to sustain it. This division stifles individuality and self-determination, a reality that endures to this day. Rather than distributing wealth based on merit or necessity, capitalism disproportionately enriches the elite while impoverishing the underprivileged. This systemic imbalance worsens as the interests of the bourgeoisie consistently outweigh those of the majority. How then did such a system gain widespread acceptance? The answer lies in capitalism's most seductive promise, that relentless effort leads to prosperity. Yet this notion is a carefully crafted illusion. In practice, capitalism serves as a mechanism to keep the proletariat toiling while the bourgeoisie amass ever greater wealth. By perpetuating this illusion, the system shields itself from scrutiny, reducing individuals to mere instruments of production. Beyond economic division, capitalism erodes individuality. It conditions people to chase fleeting material pleasures, fostering a pervasive sense of emptiness. These superficial comforts bind individuals to the system, rendering them docile and easier for the bourgeoisie to control. In the end, this serves capitalism's ultimate objective: profit maximization. A significant flaw lies in the unchallenged belief that the free market is the most viable and beneficial economic model. This assumption is fundamentally flawed. While the free market offers certain advantages, they pale in comparison to the systemic inequities it perpetuates. Chief among these is the disproportionate power it grants the bourgeoisie, enabling them to exploit the working class without consequence. Those who resist face unemployment, poverty, and destitution. This coercion undermines self-determination, enforcing compliance through fear. The resulting hierarchy ensures that the bourgeoisie maintain control while the proletariat remains subjugated. Another critical flaw is the privatization of land and industry. A pillar of the free market system, privatization allows the bourgeoisie to exploit natural resources while evading regulations meant to safeguard the environment. This reckless pursuit of profit accelerates the global climate crisis, imperiling humanity and countless other species. Why, one might ask, do the bourgeoisie persist in such destructive behavior, despite knowing its long-term consequences? The answer is simple: they prioritize short-term profit over the survival of future generations. This disregard for the greater good underscores capitalism's inherent flaws. Contrary to popular belief, capitalism does not foster individuality or freedom. Instead, it enforces conformity and systematically suppresses alternative economic models, branding them as inferior. This narrative, carefully propagated by the bourgeoisie, ensures widespread compliance and stifles dissent. Capitalism's coercive nature forces individuals to labor within the system, under the constant threat of poverty, hunger, or worse. In doing so, it subordinates personal autonomy to the interests of the ruling class. It is in humanity's best interest to challenge this system and seek alternatives that align with individual needs and aspirations. How then Does one justify the claim that capitalism champions individuality and autonomy over systems like socialism or communism? To answer this, one must examine capitalism's true purpose: to generate profit by maintaining a steady labor force. The system does not sustain itself through the efforts of the bourgeoisie alone. It relies on the proletariat, whom the ruling class manipulates through rhetoric, restrictions, and corporate propaganda. By promising freedom and opportunity, the state ensures compliance, preserving the system's dominance. In truth, capitalism betrays its professed ideals. Rather than fostering individuality and self-interest, it cultivates conformity and subservience to the ruling elite. This dynamic deepens societal divisions and accelerates capitalism's own decay. Ultimately, it sustains itself by perpetuating the illusion that hard work leads to prosperity for all. Yet this promise is a fabrication. In reality, capitalism functions as a mechanism to keep the working class in perpetual toil while the bourgeoisie consolidate power. This is their self-interest. After all, capitalism wields this illusion as a shield, concealing its ultimate purpose: to diminish individual agency and reduce humanity to mere instruments of production.